Hey guys, sorry, I started the video, then I was like, oh my God, I have to get up for a second. So if you don't know me, I noticed like there was like a few people that came to follow this account. So Nicole Sylvester, spiritual success coach, but really what does that mean? I help people own and embody their true human value, their worthiness, knowing that they deserve the absolute best that life has to offer. But how do we get to that place, right? How do we get to that place? Hi, Rebecca. First, there's this willingness to be aware. People ask me like, well, what is awakening? What does awakening mean to you? This was recently asked to me on a podcast. To me, awakening is like this willingness to be aware, because we're never fully awake. Maybe there's moments where you're like, I'm seeing all this truth, I'm seeing all these things, but it's knowing like, even if you're doing all the consciousness work, there's still things we're unconscious of. We don't even know where we go when we really die or where we were before we were born. There's so many mysteries to life, and the human mind can only really hold so much, right? So what we're exploring today is you versus your patterns. I thought about something last night. I was driving and I thought about these songs that my daughter makes me listen to, and I don't like them. But why do I still sing them? And it reminded me of like how impressionable we are. Even the people that are like doing the work and like surrendering to knowing more and more and more, we're still impressionable. We're still picking up on things we don't like. We're still doing this stuff that we really don't want to take in. Like, why? Why when you're going to bed do you have thoughts going through your head of things you don't want to think about, right? There's layers to this, my friends, and I want to really explore that today, because when we think of, well, I know what I'm doing. I know my block. I know this. It's called a blind spot. We all have them. Welcome to life, right? Hi, Chris. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Riel. Is it Raul? Raul. Marissa, Julio. Hi, guys. Melissa. So here's the deal. I want to bring this up because I want us to all just, this is like part of my work in life, is helping us all expand into greater and greater awareness. This really helps us with boundaries, right? Being able to say yes and to no to things, honoring like the energy that we have. It lets us know the patterns that we have around love, right? The way that we give and receive love, the way we can give and receive in the presence of another human being. It helps us when we understand our patterns, the way that we show up around food, the way we show up around wine, the way we show up when we're put into a room of strangers, right? So a pattern that came to mind today was a pattern around receiving and pleasure. And I had this conversation about my Bali Retreat. As you guys know, I just shared about this Bali Retreat. And what I've realized as I say yes to more and more income, more and more impact, more and more goodness in my life, I have to be willing to receive more of myself. But you see, I have patterns around being able to receive myself, right? Because there's patterns of criticism, patterns of judgment, patterns around the way that I want to treat my body, patterns around the way that I want to show up when I'm in the presence of other people. So I want you to explore today, like, really, there's you, the truth of you, the fundamental you, right? He or she is limitless. He or she has access to everything that he or she needs to create and to show up for your life's mission. It's already here. Even me as a coach that people pay money to support, I'm not giving you anything. I guide you in the process of unlearning, right? So it's different. I feel like you already have what you need. I feel like you're already infinitely powerful. But you see, there's these patterns. And those patterns, they run unconscious, just like you singing that song and humming that song that you dislike. Because that's what I do. And I notice myself doing it and I laugh at it because it reminds me of how there's just a part of us that takes in and absorbs everything that's around us, right? And that's why we have to be mindful of the TV shows we watch, of the groups that we hang out with, going out to what you think is a harmless happy hour with people that gossip and talk negatively about they can't afford it, or talking negatively about their ex-husbands or, their baby's moms, whatever it is. It's impressionable. It's leaving an impression on you. So you have to be willing to take away this need to people please and say, I'm going to please myself, because I need to become mindful of my patterns. How do we become mindful of our patterns? So look at any area of your life that you are just not pleased with the way that you're experiencing life in that area, right? And it could be your well-being. It could be the way that you're treating your body. I know me recently, I noticed that I had these unconscious eating patterns where I was just eating for emotional need versus nourishment. So I had to like really become I had to become aware of that and just go make a change, right? For some of you, it's around your finances, right? You look around and you're like, why do I not have the money that I need for the things that I need? Why do I not have the money to enjoy life that I dream of enjoying? Why do I have to say no to desires? For some of you, it's in relationships, right? Why do I have these relationships that every time I go to share my dream or every time I go to share something, I'm getting kind of dismissed or rejected, or people don't believe in me, or I don't feel safe sharing around these people? I want you to explore it, because anywhere where you're feeling this kind of negative feeling, there's a subconscious pattern there that is leading you there again and again and again. So you got to decide, why am I letting this pattern win? And you may not know what the pattern is, and that's okay. If you can identify the area that it's in, then you have one part of the process there. The other part is just being willing. Are you willing to see it? For some people, you sure as hell are not willing to see the pattern. You will defend your patterns. I have people that come into my life. Some of them are clients. Some of them are people that want to be my clients, but they are not going to be. But they have these patterns that they don't want to let go of. They become addicted to the drama. They become addicted to the chaos. So you got to be mindful, like, am I one of those people? And we're not doing it to judge. It's just toxic, right? So it's just like knowing, like, damn, I keep drinking soda and eating Reese's peanut butter cups. That's toxic. We're not doing it like, oh my God, you're a toxic person, get away. It's a negative, right? We're just saying, like, this is not nourishing my well-being. So going back to this, you found your pattern. You found the area. You may have, if you're like the old me, which some of you guys are going to realize when you read this book that's coming out, when you recognize, like, and I can speak on this because I'm someone that if you looked at every single pillar of life, every single pillar had shitty patterns, poisonous, toxic patterns that were causing me, like, you know, negative effects and impacts on my entire well-being. So what did I do first? First, I looked at the relationships and I was like, oh my God, these relationships, I have acid reflux, I have stress, I feel depressed, I'm judging myself. Oh yeah, I'm hanging out with people and spending time in relationships where people basically tell me that I'm not shit all the time, right? I have people that are pushing away and rejecting my love all the time. No wonder I feel like shit about myself. But I was choosing it because it was the way that I knew how to receive love. And I was afraid to walk away from certain things because what if I never find any more friends? What if I never find another guy? What if this is the best that I can get, right? So I stayed. But then as I dug in and said, no, I deserve more in these areas, then I start to find, like, wow, I'm still drinking too much wine. Why am I doing that? Why am I still waking up hungover sometimes? Why am I giving a day of my life away to being hungover? Okay, I have these patterns of wanting to go and numb myself with excessive amounts of alcohol. I'd rather be numb than be in my life. And there's a signal there that this isn't working, right? And then after I did the shifts there, then I start looking at, why is my money bad? Why am I not making money like I want to make money? Why do I feel guilty around charging for my services? Why do I feel like I should feel tired, stressed, and overwhelmed by my clients, but I feel like they should get all of the shortcuts and that I should give them discounts? Why? So you see, there's all of this unlocking, all of this unlearning, and at the very root of all of it is awareness. Deborah says, now Air One overflow. Yes, but you guys, if for anybody that's not in LA, Air One is like an upgraded Whole Foods. But the funny thing, in 2016, when I started writing out what I wanted my life to be like, because this was at a time in 2016, I could not afford Air One. When I say I couldn't afford it, obviously there were all these unconscious patterns. But I was like, $12 for this juice? No, I can't do that. I have like $120 in my bank account, right? But what I learned was when I made the decision that I'm only going to be able to shop where I want, I'm only going to be able to buy organic foods, I'm only going to do these things. This is a new standard. This is a choice I'm making for my life. Guess what happened? Life shifted to meet me. My life experience rises and falls depending on my standards, depending on my non-negotiables. So there is a consciousness, a choice, an awareness that has to come about. And that's why I'm sharing this, you and your patterns. Is your pattern to say no to yourself, right? I was sharing this in a video, what was it, last week? When I was going to book my trip to Hawaii, which I cannot wait, I'm going on Saturday. When I was going to book my trip to Hawaii, I don't know why I was looking at everything that was under $2,500. And I was like, why am I looking at these hotels that are over? And nothing was like truly exciting me, right? Like nothing was like getting me so excited. And I was like, why am I having this trouble like making this decision? Because trust me, I love the travel and I have no troubles making decisions there. And then I realized there was an unconscious thought pattern that I had adopted, that I shouldn't spend this amount for my pleasure. So what did I do? I decided to book my trip first class, to stay at the hotel that really excited me, and to upgrade it to the tower that's oceanfront and has an executive lounge that I can go to get mimosas at breakfast or coffee, go to for wine and tapas at night. Like, I was like, I deserve all of that. Why would I even why would I act like that before? Because I didn't even know what I was choosing, guys, right? But you see, that lower level of choosing keeps me at this lower level of operating. So what I'm inviting you to do is to call out all of your bullshit patterns and decide that you're going to live a much more pleasurable, abundant, life unleashed, life unlocked, life that is full of deep intimacy with yourself. Because you and intimacy is not just you and your lover. To have a deeper intimacy with you and your lover, you need to have a deeper intimacy with you and you, right? And you and life. For me to fully be able to have these conversations with people and to hold the space for women that come to me and say, you know what? I'm just ready to say yes to more. I had to be the woman that was saying yes to more. And I also had to be the woman that could be with someone else and see all of them and say, you know what? You're divine anyway. You know what? You are beautiful anyway. And when I say beautiful, it's like a radiance. I was talking to Chanel about this, teaching her, she's 12. And she was talking about being beautiful. And I said, haven't you ever noticed when you see the most beautiful, aesthetically pleasing person that you think, and then they're assholes, what happens? That value shifts. At least for me, for most people it does. Radiance and beauty and glow happens when you decide to be more intimate with yourself. When I say being more intimate, it's understanding that you are so much more than what you see in the mirror, then understanding that you have powers that you cannot perceive with your human senses. And as you become more aware, you actually develop more senses, right? So they're like, oh, there's this sixth sense. I absolutely believe in that. Can you trust in that to create a life that really excites you, right? So my hope for this live stream, for everyone that's listening, hi Danelle, hi Christina, hi Danielle, hey Melissa, I love you too. Hi BC, hi Oda, so I don't know who's still on here. So here's the deal. My prayer for you is that today you take out some time to be with yourself. To be with yourself and ask, like, where are your patterns keeping you stuck, right? And you don't have to know the exact pattern. Hey, Holly, you don't have to know the exact pattern. Like, give yourself some space for grace. Make space for grace, right? That's one of my favorite reminders. If you could just look at the area of life that you're ready to unlock with a willing eye, with a willing heart, with an open energy, that you're willing to change it, you're willing to see, you're willing to shift your paradigm. You're making space, you're creating the opening. Now, what will come next? Your intuition will lead you, because if you're looking at the area of life that you would like to unlock, and you're saying, I am willing, I am open, I am so available for more because I know that I deserve it, not because I was a good girl or good boy or because I did this or because I did that, because I am here and alive and I deserve to fully explore my desires. When you come to know that level of value and truth, everything begins to unlock. And when I say it begins to unlock, you get the hints. You're guided to the people, you're guided to the books, you're guided to the retreats, you're guided to the class, you're guided to maybe sometimes just be still and call, like, to say no to everything that you have planned for the weekend and stay home and be alone. You will be guided, but you must be willing. If you're constantly going up against the block and complaining about what's going wrong in your life, you create resistance. You're activating more of what you don't even want. So wherever you're feeling resistance, what if you just learn to let it go? And this is a lot of the things that I do with my clients. We just learn to, how can I unlearn this pattern of clinging and trying to force and over-efforting? How can I develop a feeling of safety? And sometimes developing the feeling of safety, not even sometimes, 100% of the time, the feeling of developing safety is not intellectual. So we can't sit here and talk about how to feel safe. I mean, we can waste our time on that. But for you to feel safe, there's a feeling, there's a place that you have to come home to within yourself, right? And I see some of you guys are my clients and some of us do this work already, right? There's a feeling and you have to know of like when you're not feeling safe, oh, red flag, let me go back into my practices. Let me go back to my safe place. I got to go back to feeling safe because I cannot operate from this place of not feeling safe, right? Because operating from not feeling safe, you're not creating anything that you want to really create. Because a lot of you guys are in the space of wanting to work and help other people feel safe. How can you do that when you don't feel safe? But here's the thing, I don't want you to judge yourself when you're not feeling safe, because I was just not feeling safe yesterday morning. I started realizing when things were not going the way I planned with my book coming, and it actually still came yesterday, but I was told it wasn't going to come until like the 24th or something, that I started going into this place of not feeling safe. But it wasn't a choice. It was I got snagged by an old unconscious pattern. And when I felt it in my entire body. And I was like, oh, hell no. This is not where I choose to operate from. I can't operate from this place. So I go on my patio, I start breathing, I feel the sunshine, and I go back into my practices of feeling safe and remembering I'm not in this on my own. But guess what? I'm not special, chosen. All of us are not in this on our own. Because I don't know about you, but like I didn't have to have a powwow with my heart today and say, I want you to beat this many times and pump blood through all of my arteries because I need to stay alive today. Right? There's something else that's supporting us. So Rebecca says, oh, hell no, she knows. But we know you can't be there. But here's the funny thing that like is so funny and blows my mind is when I think back to the times when I was like financially broke and I was disconnected from my value, I lived in a not safe place all the time. I was moving, being like everything was in a space of not feeling safe. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even realize it because I was unconscious to it. So sometimes it's funny because I get on the call with some of my clients, like in the beginning, we have our first like kickoff call and they start just going off about what's going on in their life. And I'm like, let me just stop you right there. Let me just stop you right there because you are so far out of trust. So let's do a meditation. Let's go back into trust and let's go back into that place. So what we developed together is this remembering, this ability to go in and find safety, because only from there you can create. Because no one else knows your soul coding. No one else knows what you're supposed to deliver and unfold here. Now you have millions of people outside externally try and tell you that they know something more than you know. It's not true. Like not when it comes to your path. So that's like where we develop this really strong inner authority that we know. And like I can fall back into knowing. And maybe I need to strengthen my tools. That's one thing. But like, can anyone else tell me what's my next best step? No. Can they give you feedback and can they share like how they're perceiving, how they're feeling your energy? Yes. And you got to be mindful of who you let in your energy field. I always have this talk and it's kind of funny, but like I'm very particular on who I have sex with. I've never been promiscuous, not because I don't like pleasure. Number one, I know how to pleasure myself better than like a lot of people do. But number two, I don't want everybody up in me, up in my field. I'm the same way with coaching. I'm the same way with strategy. I don't want all your strategies and information coming into my field, into my consciousness, right? So you got to be mindful of who are you letting up in your consciousness, okay? So if you've been letting too much in, can you go back into silence and start to cleanse, right? We're not judging anything that was happening before this moment, but moving forward, are we able to know that like having these boundaries on what information we let in? And that's why I don't listen to just any old podcast. I don't listen to just any old TV show. I don't listen to a lot. I'd rather be in silence because I feel like I have the download that's meant for me. I have the #1 podcast in my life. It's called Spirit, right? So I'm listening to that. Now, do I want to listen to other stuff sometimes? Yes, but what I want to get into all of you guys is that knowing that you hold the keys, right? You hold the keys, and the only thing we need to do is unlearn. So Deborah says the divine wants us to receive, so why would I not be safe? Yes, but why? So then we go into, what is this belief that has me as not being safe? Like, we start to develop it. So I remember, like, for me, I have a lot of safety issues around my father. My dad never did anything like so-called like bad. I wasn't like molested or anything bad like that happened. But what happened with my dad is that my dad would always reject my love. Now, at this age, I know that my dad loves me. And my dad, he's coming here, what day is today? Tuesday. He's coming here tomorrow night. He's coming here to watch Chanel while I go to Hawaii and while I go to Mexico on a bachelorette party next week. He loves me. But to this day, my dad is uncomfortable with expressing love. But what it did to me is I had this feeling, I developed these patterns of, it's not safe for me to express my love. It's not safe for me to come close. It's not safe for me to act like I care. So there were all these feelings around safety and love and giving and receiving. And not only safety with men, but also with women, right? There was a lot of these things around women too. So it's like a lot of unlearning around, how is it safe to show up in relationships? Is it safe for me to say, this hurts my feelings, or I love you, or I want to learn more about this? This shit is deep, guys. There's so much to learn. So it's understanding, like, instead of trying to have this like battle with your ego of why don't I feel safe, and I do feel safe, there's this deep diving into where you didn't feel safe before and learning to pour so much love there. Can we pour so much love in all the places that we didn't feel safe and be the person that actually softens us, right? And I just got chills on my legs. So like, can we be that person? And that's what we really have to learn to be for ourselves. So anyway, guys, 2 things before I go. Number 1, Wednesday, tomorrow, can you believe it's tomorrow is the day before my book launch? Wow. Tomorrow we're doing a Live From Your Heart free meditation. So if you guys have ever been in my meditations, they're really powerful, especially when we come all together, because the energy is not just me. So we're doing a free meditation in that group, and it's just a pop-up group. This group will not be going on ongoing because I'm not a big Facebook group person, only in my paid groups. So we're doing this group between now and the 24th, which is the day that I'm going to pull the drawing. There's going to be 3 winners. 1 for Bali. And Bali, if you guys have just looked at the retreat, it's a $3,500 retreat, because we're going to be doing this deep intellectual, non-intellectual work there together in Bali, right? So the 1 giveaway is for $3,500 retreat. The second and the third giveaway is for $100. So that was just something, because I was like, you know what? There's going to be other people that are playing along. There's going to be other people that buy the book, and I want them to win too, because I found that I do giveaways every year since I started my business on Christmas morning and on my birthday. And I have to tell you guys, I feel like giving away is part of my abundance. And that's why I feel like I've always been abundant since I started doing these things, because I believe in giving. I believe it comes back to me in many, many ways. And I'm really excited to see who wins the trip to Bali. But $100, right? $100, take yourself out to a nice lunch. Take yourself out to a nice dinner. Whatever it is to you that's going to feel really good, it will be on me. But more than that, book goes on sale. The book is technically on sale right now, but I'm asking everyone to wait until the morning of May 17th, because I want to reach number 1. So if you support me in that, wait until then. The book, people have said, is like super addictive, and they're super into it, and they can't put it down once they start. And that's because I wrote the book to be that way. And there actually was so much drama in the book that Sarah, my editor, told me to cut some of it out because that's, my life was that crazy. I had to like literally remove 1 abusive relationship. I had to remove some of the like me being robbed at knife point and all these things, because I was like, it's not really doing anything for the reader. It's just dramatic and sensational. So we took some of those things out, and surprisingly, it's still crazy the entire time. So beyond that, what else is going on? Bali Retreat. For anyone that wants to come to the Bali Retreat, if you want to deep dive into this stuff and you don't win, if you don't win, make a deposit on the retreat or finance it, do whatever you need to do, but get to Bali. Because I have to say that like the level of surrender and the level of safety and these feelings that we're going to cultivate while we're in Bali are going to change your life forever. When you go to Bali, the people that came to Peru with us last year, they're still like, my life has never been the same. Shout out to Martika. I don't know if she's still on here, but she was her and her husband was Sean. They led the retreat in Peru. So same thing that I did in Peru. I wanted to go around people that really knew the land, that knew what was going on, and that could take us in a deep experience. In Bali, we're doing the same thing. But in Bali, we're going to really do like beautiful things like morning circles. So we're going to come together and do meditations and activations before we even start our day. At the end of the day, after we visit the temples and we do all these beautiful things, we're going to come back and we have this beautiful rooftop on the villa. We're going to go up there, we're going to circle, we're going to pray, we're going to send prayers to other people. We're going to open up to this next stage of our evolution, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we're meant to impact in this world. So it's going to be powerful, right? So if you can get there, reach out to me if you want to find out, because it's not for everyone. So if you feel the need to go, reach out. We'll talk about if it's a right fit or if it's not a right fit, because I will be clear, it's not the right fit for everyone. But for the people that are meant to be there, it's going to be profound forever. And you'll meet people that you'll be friends with probably for the rest of your life. Beyond that, I'm opening up 2 spaces for private mentorship. I'm not sure when, but a lot of my clients are phasing out, and I'm opening up, but I'm not going to make any decisions until I'm in Hawaii, because I'm going to be unplugging in Hawaii to just allow myself my own personal retreat into pleasure, into enjoyment. And while I'm there, I'm going to open up to how do I want to show up and serve? Because I have people in my inbox that have been reaching out, asking about working with me. And I'm just like, right now, I'm waiting. I'm marinating. I want to see. But at the end of the day, I'm not at my highest level of fulfillment if I have too much free space, because I love to serve and I'm just working with higher and higher levels of leaders. So rather than working with people that are like just maybe getting started, I want to really call in some people that are in their businesses are moving, but they're like, I want to transform, I want to do some next level impact. So we'll be creating some things together. So, but like I said, we'll see what happens when I'm in Hawaii. Who knows? Because I let spirit come in, and if something else is meant to be birthed, it will be. So guys, have a beautiful day. And if you love me, and if you like these stories that I share, this is going to transform your life. Let's see if there's anything I can read out of this book. I'm like, is there anything? So at the end, where is it? I read a little love letter, because this book is not your traditional entrepreneur book, how to live a better life, how to be more successful. It's not that. But what this book will do more than almost any other book I've ever read in my life is going to show you that if you can go through all of these things, right? Diagnoses of like mental illness, told that you need to take these medications, being abused, being abusive yourself, right? Being addicted to the point of like what I talk about in this book is there was nights that I remember sitting in front of my computer in that house that I shared, and I just wondered, like, I felt so scared. I was just like, will I ever be able to live a life where I don't use cocaine? Like, I just could not imagine. At that point, I was so, like, I was living on a cocktail of cocaine to wake up and, like, get through my day and be social. Xanax when I would take too much and feel like I was going to have a heart attack. Xanax to go to sleep, and wine to just be, like, to level me out throughout the day. And that was my life for years. For years. And you know, it was like so intense that I remember just like, I cannot imagine my life without this. So now, even me, I'm not someone that had to go to recovery. Not that there's anything wrong with going to recovery, but now what I've learned is that I just had to be with my pattern. So there's times in this book where you see where I went back to my pattern of doing too much cocaine, doing these things. And like, I had these moments with myself where I had conversations with myself, like, where is this going? And I just wasn't willing. So anyway, at the end of it, what I share, and it's like my love letter to you. Every second of our life, we are able to create a new story, raise our personal standards, and say yes to the infinite possibilities. I'm not promising that it will be easy, but I promise you won't regret the times you choose higher. That's at the end. But in the book, it's all some crazy stuff. So I'll let you guys read it. So anyway, get into the Bali book group if you're not there already, and let's play. Win some money, win something. I can't wait. Oh my God, Martika, when are you going to Hawaii? Are you going to be there? I'm going Saturday to Thursday. Because if you're there, I better see you. And by the way, I will reach out to you because, by the way, guys, if any of you guys want to go to Peru and lead your own retreats there, I love sharing my people. I've already referred a bunch of people to Martika and Washan, but reach out to them because they run amazing retreats. And I was even thinking about bringing my daughter down there just to do our own personal vision quest, right, as mother and daughter. So anyway, guys, love all of you. reach out to me if any of these things that I just spoke about speak to you. Otherwise, buy my book, read it, let it shift you, share it with someone that will also need it, someone that's forgotten their power. Or if you just like really dramatic, entertaining things, then read the book. All right, guys, have a beautiful day. Bye.